Let's take a look at what the opposition has come up and said. They say that discrimination will occur if our model is followed, that discrimination will occur based on appearance, right? We do not agree to that. Why? Because women will not only be talking about the looks, but will be talking about themselves, their interests and their achievements and so forth. Moreover, the opposition states that the men are not attractive enough to get married in their own country, right? But that is not the case. A lot of people marry foreigners because of cross-cultural relationships. Moreover, the concept of marriage in the developed countries is changing. Because why? Because there are a lot of working women who do not want to have children. There are a lot of people who are from the LGBT community and thus marrying without having a child. Then the opposition comes up and says that the intellect of a woman does not matter as men. Does not matter and only looks matter, right? That is not the case. Because why? Because when you're marrying someone, looks is one of the factors that gets considered. Regardless of whether you're marrying online or traditionally, you definitely take into account how a person looks, right? So that is not discrimination. That is not a discrimination, but rather that is the norm that exists everywhere. Moreover, they say that it's not as if you're applying for a job and you get rejected just because you get accepted just because you look good. And then they say that this our model will provide an escape route for these women because they will be disincentivized to work on their career development, but rather focus their efforts on their looks and whatnot, right? However, this is where the opposition contradicts themselves. How? Because they, at the very beginning, they do agree with us that these women are from underdeveloped countries where the career and educational prospects are low. So, if the career and educational prospects are low, how can women develop their career opportunity? How can women develop their career and education if the status quo does not provide it to them, right? Right, and this is where mail order bride services comes in, because if a woman sees that if she marries someone and goes to a foreign land and she can fulfill her dreams, what is wrong with that? She's doing by her own free will, right? Then the opposition talks about that marital abuse will still continue, right? Continue because there is this issue of vested investment interest. First of all, as my Prime Minister has pointed out, that these services will not charge men or women for male or women. So if there is no money involved in meeting women for the use of if there is no money involved, then for men there is no material vested interest in it, right? And thus women are not objectified as objectified because they are not treated like commodities. But furthermore, the opposition stated that women are desperate in these countries. True, we do agree that women are desperate in such countries. However, just because they're desperate, they're not stupid. Marriage, regardless of your economic or social conditions, is a very big thing in life, right? So if you're willing to leave your family for a foreign land just to get married, just imagine the severity of the situation that they're coming from, right? So these women, they know what they're going into, that they know that they're marrying someone who's from a completely different background, who's from a completely different culture. They know that the risk that they're taking, and thus they will think rationally and will not jump into a conclusion, into an abrupt conclusion. Then the opposition states that despite the presence of law enforcement agencies, women will still not seek their help in case of abuse and whatnot, right? We still say that the anti-domestic violence agencies are very strong in developed countries, right? So developed countries, so you can still seek their help while if you're married to someone and you're getting domestically abused, regardless of your nationality. Such was the case of Oksana Makarova, who was a Ukrainian woman, married a guy in the US, and still got abused by him, but still sought help from the local authorities, and still got to stay in her husband's country, and was not deported back to where she came from. So all in all, we believe that the mail order bride service provides a platform for women, for men and women to get connected, and this also benefits the women because in their present situation they cannot marry, because they do not in the present situation they do not have the financial ability, or there is no ability for their career or educational growth, and at the same time, even if they marry someone, they will still be poor, right? So if the mail order, and that is why the mail order bride system comes in, because that gives the women a chance, an opportunity to fulfill their dreams of having a better career and better education, right? And if the opposition is so concerned about the domestic violence, as they have stated over and over again, we still say that the chances of domestic abuse are very low. Why? Because first of all, the punishment for domestic abuse is very high. If you get caught, you'll be spending years in prison. But moreover, the publicity that will be generated, the media attention that will attract for domestic abuse is something that will destroy the rest of your future. Even if you get out of your jail, your criminal records will still be there, right? So what I'm going to tell is that what will happen if we do not implement the mail order bride system, right? First of all, the demand of these women to get out of their country will still exist, regardless of the existence of the mail order bride systems or not. So if the government does not provide such services, what they will do, they'll turn into those agencies which falsifies information and do not provide enough support so that when women gets married via those illegal agencies, they'll get into trouble and they will not know who to turn into. And that is a situation that is far worse than that will otherwise not have happened if our model was implemented. The opposition never showed us a solution, any alternate solution to the problem that we have raised. They have only talked about that the country do not have enough technological capability to implement this. However, we say that all you need is a device with internet connection, and that is really inexpensive, and thus the opposition's case does not stand. So all in all, what we say that mail order bride system is something that women can choose based on their free will. They can make decisions. They can make decisions rationally before they jump into an abrupt conclusion, and thus they can avoid the bad things that are associated with it. Thank you.